Broadcasting from the commodity capital of the world, Zurich, Switzerland, this is Insider's Guide to Energy.
Insider's Guide to Energy, ETRM Mini-Series, brought to you by Fidectus, where post-trading matters, and Falls and independent management and consulting boutique, creating impacts for clients and markets.
Welcome to Insider's Guide to Energy, ETRM Mini-Series. Today we have with us FIS Global, Irina Reitgruber?
Reitgruber, yeah.
Entschuldigung. Welcome to the podcast. So we're going to talk about FIS today and we'll go through it. But before we start, maybe you could give us an introduction of who you are and what you do for your company.
First of all, thank you very much for this opportunity to talk to you. My name is Irina Reitgruber, and I'm working for FIS. Before it was SunGard since 2014. Before that, I spent some 10 years working in the vendor companies for energy. So basically, I'm already more than 20 years in the energy business. My role at FIS is I'm responsible for FIS European business, where I help sales, I help pre-sales, implementation. So I am the owner of the European energy part of FIS software for energy.
Well, welcome and thank you for joining the ETRM Mini-Series. What we'd like to talk about today and divide this show up, just like we've done with the rest of the series, is into a couple segments. And the first segment I'd like to talk to is, what are you seeing as trends in the ETRM space? So I always start this segment by saying, for me, one of the reasons we decided to do this mini-series is we started noticing the ETRM space is extremely crowded. There seems to be a bunch of new companies coming in. There's some cloud-based, SaaS-based companies that are new that want to disrupt the world. There's some that focus just on renewables. There's all kinds of entrants into this space. And so to me, I'm just kind of wondering from your perspective, why this is. What's transitioning in the space to cause all this activity?
Okay. Thank you for that question. So I would start with market transition because all the trends within ETRM space are following the trends in general energy industry. So I think there are three main trends which we observe. One is started probably with pandemics, work from home. This is a trend going to the cloud. And if you talk to people like 5 years ago, energy companies were concerned about giving the data outside of their houses. Now everybody is thinking about cloud. So that's one very important change in the industry. The second one, we observe now as economists are coming out pandemics starting to grow. We see great volatility and high prices for commodities, for energy, so for power, for gas, all that situation, especially on the European market. It already brought some smaller companies, for example, in UK, into bankruptcy because they were not hedged well enough. And at the end, I think the main trend, which starts now and will follow for many years ahead, is the trend related to ESG, to climate risk and renewables and all the related topics into that. So the industry itself is in a great transition, I believe. So if you look at that, what vendor market is doing, it's clear that as soon as we see that energy company want to go to the cloud, vendors want to support it. And that's not so easy because you cannot just take the system as it is with all the legacy software and put it into the cloud. It will not have any advantage of the cloud. So you need to invest into your software. You need to make it cloud native. We can talk about it later, but that's basically what many vendors were quite busy with last years. Then what I mentioned, the volatility, bankruptcy, and all these kind of problems, of course, bring companies to more attention to the risk management. And that both market risk, credit risk. So risk management is really one of the most important topic on especially large companies, but also very recommended to look at for the small energy companies. Last but not least, the managing of a new type of assets and deal types which are emerging. So all our customers are now busy with thinking how to manage the PPAs. I think that's the topic number one in the power industry. But also we see something new coming into the market. So I've never seen before companies which are just dealing with certificates, no gas, no power, only certificates trading, and trying to help customers, so corporate as well, to reduce their carbon footprint by managing certificates, participating in different projects outside of the country and so on worldwide. And I think this is a new customer base, what vendors like ETRM system providers will see. And that's, of course, also quite a big impact on the market. So that's the trends, what we observe and what we're working with.
Okay, thank you, Irina. That was quite a wide overview of trends and how you see them, and why they're having an impact on the vendors of ETM systems. But maybe let's dive into one particular topic. I think we will come across other topics later, but I'm very interested in the topic cloud that you mentioned. So the whole migration of systems and solutions into the cloud. Maybe that's a good point in time where you can elaborate a bit and tell us and our audience what FIS offers in terms of ETM system in general, and what you specifically are doing now already to exactly overcome this challenge that you mentioned, that you cannot just put a legacy system into the cloud and say, hey, I have a cloud native system. That doesn't work, but you need to invest, as you said, in your solution. So maybe give us a more insight in that area.
Okay. I understood that the first part of your question was what FIS generally offering, what kind of ETRM systems. Yeah? I mean, I must say here that FIS offering different solutions for, say, energy market. It is not only ETRM systems, it's systems for payments, for clear derivatives, for market data provision. So there is a large complex of different solutions which our customers in energy market are using from FIS, treasury systems, and so on. So all the spectrum. From the ETRM perspective, I think three solutions which we offer are interesting here to mention. One is, of course, our flagship ETRM system, which is former Align. Now we have rebranding, and it's called FIS, Energy Trading Risk and Logistic Platform, quite long name. This is the flagship system for larger energy companies. Then we have another portfolio management system. So a new name is Energy Portfolio Manager, and former name is ETRM. This is some smaller ETRM, so for startups, for smaller companies on one hand, but on the other hand, we also use it for retail-oriented business where you need energy data management, time series management. So it's not a trading system, it's portfolio management system, can be used for corporates, for example, procurement of energy and things like this. So that's the second one. And number three is getting more and more important, is pure risk analytics system, pure risk management system, which is very powerful and covers a lot of asset classes from all financial risk into the energy and commodity risk, and was mainly used by banking, but now it's going more and more interesting for commodity traders, for energy traders, and we see a real push from that side for such kind of solutions. So Now, I think in the further answer, I will concentrate mainly on our flagship energy system because it's difficult to cover everything. But if you have any questions to the other solutions which we offer, also very happy to comment on that. So, on the cloud, first of all, I would like to explain what FIS generally is offering. So, is FIS Private Cloud, and we have many customers which are hosted in FIS Private Cloud. Then of course, our customers go to usually public cloud, and we have some other construction which we call FIS hybrid cloud. So it's a public cloud like AWS, Azure, where FIS puts security layer on the top of it and certain monitoring tools. So it's from security perspective much more secure than usual AWS or Azure would be. And at the same time, we supply certain monitoring tools which helps to better observe what's going on and to quicker remediate any issues if they occur. So that's basically our main offering, I would say, is we are focusing on FIS hybrid cloud, and we are also offering different services around that. We are offering um, the application managed services for each application. We have one general team. I think this is very interesting because it's one infrastructure managed team which manages the infrastructure for any FIS solution, for banking solutions, so for everything what FIS has. So it's kind of economy of scale. We can easily add more to that. And then we have special teams who are specialized on a particular solution, like, for example, ETRM system, and manage the application there. Then we have a team who is doing testing service. So if customer wants, we can also offer testing services. And I think that the ultimate advantage of all this is a continuous delivery model, where we are starting to work on with energy customers, but it's already very widely used in our financial customers. So that's from general FIF perspective.
So it sounds like there's a lot going on there.
Yes.
So you mentioned the cloud application, and I think that's where we're focusing our talk in your energy. Was it cloud native? Did you build the application originally as a cloud application, or have you migrated a legacy application onto the cloud?
We migrated legacy application on the cloud, but we first of all we introduced containers, so it's a containerized solution, and it has huge advantages for customers. Secondly, we were investing in the web UI since 2015, so really it's a quite big and powerful ETRM system where we replaced the old Java windows with HTML5, and that process not 100% finished, but we have finished everything, all the part of the system where people work day by day. So there are certain configurations which is still done on Java, but it's very seldomly used for administration mainly.
So I understood you saying that you're having a continuous migration from of legacy system components into the cloud. But how does that look like from a client perspective? Let's say there's a client that is still using the legacy system. I mean, is he then gradually migrated to the components or services that are already existing in the cloud? And is it something that that the client realizes? So how does this migration look like for the client?
Mhm. So the new web-based part is available up to from certain release. And this release is if a customer upgrade legacy system and gets particular release, it has a choice to continue to use old system as it was without any changes, or to switch to the containerized version and HTML5 screens. So we have now parallel, we will support parallel both. Sometime in the future, when we are purely web-based, we will discontinue support maybe for Java, but it will not happen soon. So the customer has really a choice to switch to the cloud-based, cloud-native solution or not.
So when your customers move to the cloud, have you moved to are they still licensing the software the way they did before, or have you moved to more of a software as a service model?
We are doing software as a service mode, but that's again a big range of differences what we have. So, for example, our portfolio management system, the Reforma XDM, we have created a software as a service package, so you can get the system pre-configured for you with just 2 weeks of training and additional configuration. You can start using system. So that's really is fully web-based. It's supported, so it has regular upgrades, regular testing, which we support. So customer can only enter their data in the web-based system, and this is completely containerized, completely web-based. So this is now the special offer for the software as a service. On the so the flagship ETRM solution, we offer all kind of services customer want. So we offer application managed service, we offer testing service, and as I mentioned, we want to move towards continuous delivery model. Basically, we have everything what we need for that. So we need to start working with customers because this is where you really have an advantage. You don't. When, what happens usually? You have old release, you don't upgrade for many years, you have built a lot of applications around, you have some Excel solutions around, and whatever else you have done, and then you spend quite a big money to upgrade, and then you start maybe using something new. But with market changes, we are continuously developing our software. So how to bring your software up to the latest and what is time to market is that's the main question here. And the continuous delivery model is something which supports exactly that. So avoiding large upgrades, being always up to date with the software, get advantage of new developments. That basically.
All right, so we're talking about new developments. You mentioned in your intro, I think you talked about renewables a bit, and you talked about the market changing and things like that. So maybe we should switch gears and talk about renewables. How does your platform handle renewables?
Well, I mean, for European market, renewables is nothing very new. So I just give you an example. I think in 2018 we had a project in Belgium where we have modeled certificates management for 3 different regions in this one small country. Each region has own rules for banking, for inventory management, different vintages, different liquidation schemes, everything. So it's very small and very complicated market. So there is a lot of engineering around, but this is something what we are used to manage. Uh, what we see now is great interest coming from US. So they are coming into this requirements now, and so we are happy also to offer it there. So I think that from renewables perspective, we have quite experience on it from Europe.
I see. But completely agree that renewable is not something new in Europe. But nevertheless, what I can see looking into the project is that especially the topic PPAs that you also mentioned is more and more on the rise. So much more interest to structure assets in form of PPAs, where you have a buyer and a seller. And probably you know best, those structures also come with quite some complex attributes like payoff formulas that are not always standard, that might even have some optionality embedded in it. And that brings quite some challenges for clients that have entered into a PPA. Starting already with the deal capturing, you need to make sure that it fits into your system. But of course, then going along down the road, the deal life cycle, you need to make sure that you have the right risk management tool that can capture all the embedded risk and also valuation engines that are measuring performance sufficiently. So, how is your flagship solution overcoming that? And also, how flexible is it in terms of new payoff structures or other components that make a PPA more complex?
Okay, I mean, you are right that PPAs is really very hot topic at the moment, and this is something which is relatively new also in Europe, at least in this kind of maßstab. So this isn't so wide. Uh, yeah, so it is difficult because it's very low level of standardization. It's something you really need to work with customers to look at the PPA and to think how to model it best. Um, I must say that very interesting experience we had recently with one of the customers where together with our partners we have modeled 550 PPAs, and that was successful implementation. So I think it was quite a lot of engineering. Fortunately, the system is flexible enough and allows to have the kind of complicated payoffs, different types of volumes, flexibilities. You can capture things. So it was not easy, but it was manageable. But it was also a lot of lessons learned from this implementation. So we are working with customers on certain simplification of workflows, specially designed for such kind of deals, and some more usability in the managing more deal entry usability to easily manage different components of such PPA. So, but even without those developments, we could successfully implement that.
Okay, that's nice. And again, in that context, I mean, how flexible is it at the end for the client and the user? Let's say, to make it very explicit, along an example, there is a PPA with a new payout structure that is not yet available in the system. So can then the client also go on the platform, because you mentioned it has been renamed to platform, and also develop its own piece of code or amend the deal capturing so that he can fit in this kind of complex deal? And maybe can he also, even in a broader sense, develop an own pricing engine or evaluation engine and integrate that into the system?
I would say there are two types of PPAs. One type is based on renewable production, so wind, solar power plants. They usually a lot of different forecasts to manage. It can be complex payoffs, but basically it's like one umbrella, and below this umbrella you have different atomic deals, so different components, which each of them is relatively easy and simple and does not need very sophisticated valuation. So this is more usability on how to link with those components so that you always get right report, good position overview out of that. But the second part is those complex PPAs where you have flexibility embedded. It can be, for example, hydropower, based on the hydropower, can be based on conventional power plants with a lot of different technical restrictions and flexibilities. Here, what we offer is a special module for custom deals. This module allows you completely flexible capture whatever features you want and assign a model to that. It can be a model which is developed on the third party. It can be model developed somewhere by the customer. So we offer some of such models. So we have few models which we offer as well. But I know that customers who want really to have market valuation of such complex deal have own thoughts about it and more happy when we can link their model into our system. And so this is a special construction deal which can really be used for such purposes.
Okay, and the integration of I call it now external services, is that utilized via standard APIs, or how is the integration in general working there?
Okay, so we support standard APIs or REST APIs for
Okay.
inputs and outputs, so completely. We have also ways to integrate their models based on a line calculation engine. So a line calculation engine is basically very, very flexible calculation engine, which can be configured just by clicking. So if you if it refers to the system itself, it's quite easy to configure reports, but it can also call different third-party models. It can write certain tables or read from somewhere else. So this is really it's a kind of heart of the system. It has great flexibility to get the data from where you want and to write data where you want. So this is
So
another part where you can this kind of
is
uh,
that a tool that your customers would use on their own and take training to use, or is that a tool that they'd use with one of your consultants to really achieve their goals?
I mean, there is nothing against customers using that. You need to learn it. You need to get certain proficiency in that. But we have a lot of partners, partner company who are able to use that. Of course, our consultancy is also available. So this is
So, so just curious, based on the consultancy say, what's the average size or type of customer that you're working with? Are you more with the larger energy companies, mid-size? Where's your sweet spot of target trader?
I would say for them, and we have different products. If you talk about the energy trading risk and logistic platform, which is Align, it's usually tier two utilities. It's a typical sweet spot across
That
the
makes sense.
globe, especially for US. We have special handling of gas nominations and gas scheduling for US market where we are very strong. And so we have not only pure utilities. We have pipeline operators over there and a lot of pipeline related activities. And this is as transmitters, schedulers, and it's another part. So not really traders. But for more
Understood.
for European market, it's like tier two utilities, our typical customers. On the XDM, which is former XDM and portfolio manager, that's more small. So small startups type of customers. On the enterprise risk solution, we have a couple of deals for companies like Cargill, so really large commodity traders, not specifically energy, but also energy. And we have more and more prospects from tier one energy space looking at that product.
So,
Okay,
so
and
what are they looking for to make the transition? So you say there's more interest. Sorry, Martin, but there's more interested from the tier ones. So what is it about your solution that is catching their attention that they're saying, hey, we should be looking at FIS?
You mean from their enterprise risk solution?
Yeah, you said there's more and more activity from large tier ones. So
Yeah,
why are you on the radar all of a sudden?
Uh, with respect to tier one, they are more looking on our risk solution, on the again called former adaptive, but now enterprise risk suite. And this is a very strong solution for with very wide range on asset classes. So if you are large companies with different locations, with different ETRM systems, you need to collect all this data somewhere and very quickly with very high performance process the data and calculate risk numbers. So this is what the strong part of that solution.
Thank you.
and in that context, talking about location globally, is there for all the three solutions, is it possible to somehow outline where your biggest footprint is? Is it like North America or Europe or maybe somewhere else, or equally distributed?
Okay, so from the Align perspective, that's I think 60% is North America, 40% Europe. On the portfolio manager, it's only European solution. We have one Japanese customer, however, and we are still offering some more, and so we hope to get more in Asia. But from the enterprise risk solution perspective, I think that's all over the world. So it's everywhere. We have Australia, we have South Africa, we have US, we have Europe a lot. So this is very because the
Yeah.
solution is used not only in energy sector, it's used in banking sector, it's used in everywhere.
Makes
Yeah,
sense.
that would have been my next question. So if purely energy companies that are using your solutions. I would have assumed not, but maybe in a particular context. I mean, PPAs, what I can see is that more and more investment companies are also looking into investing green energy, and PPAs, I think, is more and more something interesting for them. But they still have, I would say, quite a still a lack of know-how how the market works. But do you have clients already that are purely maybe on the asset management side, so asset managers that reach out to you and say, "Hey, I have now invested into PPA, of course, for different reasons than maybe a chemical industry corporate, but they reach out
I
to understand if they can have system support from you."
well, I see interest. So we have people from corporate, so from chemical industry, for example, coming with that questions. I did not see it from pure asset management companies yet, but
Okay, yeah,
happy to
might
talk to
come.
them.
Okay.
So let's go back into the product a little bit. I think you mentioned earlier that you mentioned that you had APIs, and maybe that would lead to me to wonder about an ecosystem or how you work with other components. So do you have an ecosystem approach in place right now?
FIS generally is working towards a microservice architecture, which would allow to use different components of different solutions for this on different platforms. So if we say that our ETRM system is a kind of platform, we are preparing it to integrate different microservices. For example, from the risk perspective, we have quite a good risk management part in that solution, which is usually satisfactory for our typical customers. But it can be that there are more appetite, for example, to more complex calculations like CVAs and these things like this. So they're starting to be interesting for energy companies. And we have other tools like enterprise risk providing the microservices for that kind of calculation. So this is where we are going to.
Okay, and do you have in that context also external companies that you're partnering with that provide such a microservice that you out of the box integrate and offer?
Well, yes, we also working with third-party companies, but if you understand, FIS is such a huge number of different solutions and components. First of all, we want to be able to properly integrate our tools, and of course, within that, we are prepared to integrate the third parties as well. And we are working with third-party companies, for example, on such topics like artificial intelligence, machine learning. Yeah, this is also one of their very intensive conversations right now.
Okay.
So, so am I hearing you correctly that you have many aspects of the solution, so your customers would be generally signing up for FIS across the board more likely than going to third parties, is what I think you're saying. Is that safe to understand?
Well, I mean, we are of course offering quite different solutions to the market, so we are happy to serve customers from different sides, but we understand they need the integration of third-party solutions. We are working with partner companies, for example, in implementation, and those partner companies also have certain solutions which are integrated in projects. But again, so our I mean, we have also very interesting tools within the company, like real-time databases with corresponding UI. So if you do complex, very, very big portfolios, complex risk calculation, you can see all the results much earlier before they are written back into the database, And this kind of things, that's all available within FIS and can be reused by different applications and different solutions. But again, so the topic where, first of all, we're intensively working with third parties are artificial intelligence and machine learning tools.
Okay. So I think we got quite a good overview about your current state and also the roadmap, or at least the vision when it comes to ecosystems or microservice-based architecture, and you're investing quite a lot into further getting there. Um, I have now quite a different question, probably. So I guess it's widely known globally, even that FIS has a huge footprint into the classical capital or financial markets, with also a huge and wide range of systems and solutions that are offered. What I'm wondering in that context is, so how much or yeah, how well can you utilize and leverage know-how from, let's say, trading and banking, or also support for asset managers when it comes to building solutions and systems in the energy trading business? Can you transfer a lot of know-how and methods and best practices, or is it completely split within FIS, the development of systems and solutions in the energy space and the financial market?
uh, I mean, within, for example, product organization, we work together with people developing models for complex financial deals or models for energy. We have one quant team, and this quant team is basically responsible for improving models and testing models, working on models with customers. We're also offering some, customization of the models for customers, and those people are working across financial or energy industry. So we are so since I started in 2014 with FIS, as I started, it was really disintegrated a lot. So we had just our energy department. It was not much communications with others. But through that time, it changes completely. So now we are very closely working together, and the company still continue reorganizing, bringing it more and more together. For example, we are now building a team which is busy with creating user interfaces for different systems. So the user interfaces in HTML5 will look similar if you take trading system for banks or trading system for energy. So that's basically the vision. It will be also from visual perspective integrated in a sense.
Okay, understood. Thank you. Maybe let's shift gears a bit and move on to cover another, from our perspective, very interesting topic. So the whole topic automation. I think that's quite a wide topic. So let's maybe start with short-term trading, where I see a big demand and desire for higher automation, also fostered and even enforced by more renewables and higher volatility in the markets. So I think that the way that traders want to work in short-term power trading, especially, has changed in the past year. For example, they need a real-time position management module and other things in order to cope with the speed and the volatility in the market. So how do you assess that development, and what is FIS and along those three solutions offering for the traders to manage their job better?
Yeah, exactly. So for Europe especially, it's quite a big demand. So the intraday continuous market started, say, it's like 5 years ago, and we also started to develop tool which fully supports continuous market together with algo trading and so on. But later on, somehow we found that our customers would very frequently like kind of separate this short-term algo trading part and the ETRM system. It was not really their requirement to that the ETRM system learns to make some trading algorithms. So somehow we have done it and it was used, but it did not get such a great response from the customers. At the moment, we realize that from ETRM perspective, what customer want are very good quality of real-time positioning. So graphical and tabular for large portfolios, flexible way of presenting the position, intraday limits, in everything which is intraday data streaming, um, So where we're investing a lot now is, I mean, a line can always done, so could always do intraday real time stuff, but now we are investing time in more scalability and possibility to do it not only in the cloud but also on the VMs. So just to spread calculation across VMs, to have more capability to make positioning in a very short time for very large portfolios. So that's the main focus at the moment, not that much algo part.
Okay, and what does that mean in terms of not that much algo part? Are you following up with that topic, maybe creating a separate solution or system or framework for algo development and trading?
No, man, we don't see such a demand. So for our
Okay.
customers found this quite useful to have third-party system doing that.
Yep.
We are ready to support if we see demand, but somehow I think that from the ETRM perspective, our main focus now, and this is really important, is to make system as scalable as we can to have these connections to real-time databases, to very quick aggregations, to have data streaming capabilities in real time. So this is where we are focusing right now. We don't see such demand from our customers on the algo part. And maybe
So
another reason for that is the market is changing very quickly. So if you start doing the bidding and algo and this part of intraday trading, you must devote quite a lot of time and effort on this to be always on the latest, version of API and so on. We are doing this because we still have customers who are using this part of our software as well. But to make it in big style, so to support different markets, it's just would diverse our attention from other things too much. So we are
so I think
concentrating
I
on
heard you say a couple times that you scale kind of linearly by is it spinning up new VMs? Is that what you're doing? And I think
no,
what I heard you say.
we are spinning different type. When you talk about performance, you have input output performance, you have calculation performance, you have performance of concerning different parts of the system, and some of them are grid capable, some of them need certain improvements. And also, so we were always able to calculate things real time, so there's nothing new for our system. But for example, to make this scalable across VMs quickly, this is something what was done relatively recently.
Got it. And then as we're kind of pressing up against time, I think you've been telling us quite a bit of what's on the truck. Where are you guys headed? What's on the near horizon that you're headed towards?
Uh, is that, are you asking on long-term horizon, or what is the?
Yeah, where's your ETRM system headed, right? So you probably have some technical debt. You probably have some backlog of where you're headed. So
Well,
what's the future?
we have our roadmaps for, say, next 12, 18 months, and that is complete with improvements of workflows on PPAs. It's all those performance improvements which I mentioned. Also, uh, the microservice architecture, also the integration of different real-time tools like real-time databases across different systems within FIS. I mean, this is also, I would say, short and mid-term developments. And I mean, what is the vision, if you ask about that? I mean, the vision is a kind of trading platform capable to integrate custom third-party tools, FIS tools, which is really working with this microservice architecture and very easily integrates whatever. Then we can imagine, like, apps which you are buying and putting on your platform. Probably this is the ultimate future of ETRM system.
Okay.
Why
I
are you
was not
laughing?
prepared for that. I came too quick, Chris. I guess we
Sorry.
have to cut this out.
Okay. So all right. So I think for me, going back into the questions, so you envision that there will be an open ecosystem with an app store kind of environment in the future, if your crystal ball is correct. That's where you see your platform ending up,
Yeah, but
or
this is
some point in the
where I
future.
see the really useful future for ETRM system.
And do you see this also? I guess yes, but what is the feedback from your clients? Do you foster their close exchange? Do they say, "Hey, I want to move towards microservice-based architecture and cloud and also app stores"? Is that something that is more a vision developed by FIS, like forerunning the market, thinking it will move there, or do you see that clear feedback also from your clients?
I mean, what we see from the clients is that, I mean, we have very different clients, from smaller to very large. And of course, the clients which are most, a pioneer role in this respect are the larger clients. And they are definitely wants more integration, more automation, using AI tools which they have in house and they want to integrate into their system. So this is, and our role is to offer them the best way of doing this.
Right.
Cool.
Okay. So quite a spread customer base in terms of
Yeah.
needs,
So
and you want to fulfill needs ideally everywhere where it's possible, I guess.
yeah.
Yep. Okay.
But I think we're running towards our time limit here. I think we've covered a good bit of what FIS has. What I suggest we do is I suggest we switch into our speed round, which is 10 questions. For the audience that have been listening to the mini series, you already know that we're going to alternate between the questions. These are the exact same 10 questions that we ask every ETRM vendor that's been on the program. And we'll just go through the questions and let's see how we go from there. So I'll go ahead and kick off if you're ready. And the first question is, will the number of vendors for ETRM solutions shrink or expand in the future, in your opinion?
It is expanding now, but not necessarily everybody will offer these platforms. I think there will be a lot of companies who are offering kind of apps, if you remember my vision.
Absolutely.
Okay. Second question. So how many deals per minute must a modern ETM system today be capable to import?
Per minute. Now, I don't want to give you a number right now on the top of my head.
Maybe
That's
a range?
The magnitude.
let's have algo trading maybe in mind.
or yeah, if you have algo trading in mind, that's a bit difficult. Definitely, kind of 2-3 digit number.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so what commodity types and energy types are you offering, and which ones do you consider your company's greatest strengths?
Well, we are offering gas power certificates. This is our typical commodities, but we can deal with oil, with coal, and other commodities, even not energy commodities. But if you're asking about our flagship solution, the strength is gas power and certificates.
Right, thank you.
Okay. So does your, let's say, your flagship product align, or I think it's now called Energy Trading Risk and Logistics Platform, right?
Yes.
Does it offer a real-time position management module, and how real-time is it? So is it an event-driven architecture where every trade is immediately incorporated in the position
Yeah.
overview?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
All right. Do you have an automated workflow for straight-through processing?
Yes, we have. It's very short answer.
Yeah, this is
Perfect.
a speed round. That's
Yeah.
all for it.
So, I mean, especially for the standard deals.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So can your, I guess again, align the flagship product can align price Asian options?
Yes. we price. We have a lot of options which we can price. There is a document with all those different types of sessions.
Okay.
Very constant.
Fantastic.
Very or whatever.
Great. So, are you offering a full integration implementation service for your ETRM solution?
FIS does, but not in all regions. So, for example, in Europe, we are working with third-party companies to implement solutions.
Okay. So what is, from your point of view, the biggest threat for third-party ETRM vendors?
What do you mean by third-party ETRM vendors?
So like the biggest challenges for ETRM vendors like FIS. So what do you think is the biggest challenge from your perspective for your product development and going further?
I think the biggest challenge for systems like FIS has, but also other legacy systems have, is the speed of transition from the legacy system to the modern architecture.
Yep.
So we need to really try to be quick.
Got it. So what does your licensing model look like today? And is it going to change in the future?
License, well, we have user licenses and module licenses. So we scale with number of users and with functionality. If that will change or not, I cannot predict. It was like that for many years. So, but we are offering rental fees, for example. So we are getting more and more flexible with respect to how we offer that. So.
Okay, then last question. Are you offering an API or APIs for data exchange, and what is the technology behind it?
So we are offering REST APIs in all our systems.
Okay.
Yeah. Fantastic. We've gone through the speed round. We've gotten to all 10 questions. What I'd like to do is give each guest the opportunity about a minute or two to maybe pull your thoughts together and share with our audience why they should consider reaching out or looking at FIS. So maybe if you want to bring it all together in a short thought of why our audience would want to call you or listen.
What are the main strengths maybe of FIS? First is the wide range of different solutions we are offering, and we can build up a solution for you. Our effort to integrate them so that the integration between different parts getting more and more easy. Microservice architecture, for example. Also experience of people in energy market. So we have people who are working in this market for 20 years, and that's in Europe and US in different geographies. And also very wide range of services which FIS can offer. Maybe that's a special feature of such large company of FIS, because we have large teams which can take care about different products across the whole FIS, and this is a kind of economy of scale. So we can really scale our services, our tools. For example, now we're introducing certain tools for custom integration, which can be used across any kind of products of FIS, and the team who is professional on that can go in any product and help with the integration. So that this is the kind of things which large company really can offer and that customer benefit.
Fantastic. I want to thank you for coming on to the ETRM Educational Mini-Series and sharing your perspective and FIS perspective. Thank you so much.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
You're welcome. And for our audience, we hope you've enjoyed finding out more about FIS and hope you're enjoying this ETRM Mini-Series. It's an educational opportunity to learn what you would like about ETRM. Don't forget to listen to the other episodes. The 10 questions are always the same, and there's at least 13 vendors participating, so you should get a very wide perspective of what's happening in the ETRM space today. We look forward to talking to you again on another episode. Thank you.
Thank you.